What's up? What's up? What's up?
How you doing?
Hi.
I am. I'm good. I'm so good.
Why
We
are we
are.
laughing like that? Well, we can't say hi?
I think it's. I think it's because we were laughing offline,
Mm-hmm.
which we tend to do. We tend to cut up. Hey, Rakarsha. So we are back in the fan club. I want to welcome our VIP. Oh, Matt is in the building. VIP is in the
That's
building. I'm
right,
with my
though.
crew.
That great Scottish son of a
Um,
bitch. Was that your the Pack McAfee there, Matt?
that was good. That was good. But Pat is so us, what, like doing commentary. So I think that's why we like him. Hey Vaughn, more VIP is in the building.
What up? What up?
So tonight we are getting into Drew McIntyre. It is Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night. I'm very excited to get into some of our favorite moments because I think Drew is firing on all cylinders, I would say, recently. He's
Mm-hmm.
definitely been one of the most entertaining right now. And I would say he's doing social media very well. And that is a big part of, I think, getting over nowadays is being entertaining, being able to talk about his tweets and send his tweets in the group chats and be like, yo, did you see what Drew said about CM, and then capitalizing off of having CM Punk back in the company. Like, he capitalized on that immediately, and that
Yeah.
might probably be the most anticipated CM Punk feud, and he hasn't even really had one yet. So
Mm-hmm.
really, really cool for Drew. He changed my mind. So we have the pay-per-view this weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's any time where Drew should have a moment, I think it would be this time. So it makes me very excited going into Clash at the Castle. Oh, Justin's shaking his head.
Mm-mm. Not with my fucking Latino world champion just celebrated during the Puerto Rican Day Parade this past weekend. You think I'm about to really go against one of mine? Are you fucking kidding me? I've been asking for this for like decades. I finally get it. And y'all want to yank this shit away from me for the Scottish psychopath or was it what Scottish psychopath or what's the shit he's going off for right now?
The Scottish
The Scottish
something.
warrior,
Yeah. Something like,
It's,
yeah.
it's,
the
it's,
Scottish
one of it is the
blacksmith.
Scottish psychopath.
Mm-hmm. The
All I know is he
school
wears a skirt.
and the
Whoa.
a
Sorry, it's a
skirt.
kilt. It's not a skirt. We're the body eating.
Yeah, you could say Braveheart versus Dusty Undertaker. That's funny, Bond. But yeah, we're gonna get into sort of Drew's journey. We talk about people that have left the company, made a name for themselves, and came back, had to get that, that rub from other companies to come back. And I think he's one of those success stories. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to kind of go through, his journey and how we feel like he's over now and what's next for him,
Yeah.
honestly. But in the meantime, I do want to remind everyone, if you are not subscribed to Those Wrestling Girls YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please follow us on TikTok and Twitter. Krista B, my sis, she just did an interview with DTF Mania. She is a dope wrestling photographer. You most likely, if you are on Twitter or Instagram and are actively consuming wrestling content on social media, you have come across her photography. A lot of the wrestlers repost her photos because she gets really, really good shots, and she's also really cool. Krista
Mhm.
B and I got a chance to meet her in Philly, and she's so sweet and very inspiring story. I love hearing how women got into wrestling. I love seeing women thrive in spaces that are usually dominated by men. And event photography and wrestling photography is one of those professions, and where women still deal with the same amount of sexism as like the female wrestlers. And we have an interview series for women in wrestling on our Patreon. Quick little plug to subscribe to our Patreon, because you also get exclusive Krista B sound off sessions on there, and you get exclusive interviews with women in wrestling, not only wrestlers but also photographers. And we have a couple of interviews on there with photographers, and they deal with the sexism that they have to deal with because they have to be backstage. And you're
Mhm.
automatic, if a woman, especially back then, and not even that long ago, to be completely honest with you, um if you were backstage, it was assumed that you were just trying to catch a man, basically. Like you were a ring rat and you were trying to meet the men. And it's like, no, I like I'm here. This is my job. Like I'm here to in a professional manner. And women just always kind of having to be on that defense. So I love hearing those stories and also just hearing women thrive in it. And also, if you think about it, a lot of the dopest wrestling photographers right now are women.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the one girl's name. She works for Heyman's
Yeah,
website
there's
now.
DTF, there's Kimber Slack, there's like a
Yes,
handful of them.
yes. And she
Yeah.
also was able to turn her photography into merch. So shout
Yeah,
out
like if you think of
to
like the top 10 photographers in like wrestling, like 7 of them are either women or like couples, like married couples.
right.
Happy
That's so
Peep.
true.
Happy Peep is one of
Yes.
my good friends in the
Oh my gosh.
CZW days.
Wow, she's one of the first women. Well,
Yep.
first I featured in that series, that interview
Mm-hmm.
series actually, and she does hardcore wrestling photography. Um, yes, you are right on that, Vaughn. She is, and which is why I was able to get even more insight on Letty, because she also does event photography on just those, those things that she deals with. But Happy Peep is a hardcore wrestling photography. She
Mm-hmm.
photographs death matches.
And,
So yeah.
and I've like stood side by side, like capturing social media moments when I was doing social for WSU and CZW. And when I tell you they way Happy Peep was killing it, and then the backstage, one of the best photos was Jonathan Gresham's CZW championship win. And he was in a match, he was all bloody and whatnot, but phenomenal work. I love that we was able to give a lot of the ladies in the business their flowers right now.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, same here. Same here. So check out that interview, Krista B, DTF Mania on YouTube. It will be on podcast platforms very soon. And follow us everywhere. We have, content every week. Seindole killing it with Watch What Happens NXT, NXT pre-show. And I also have to say, my girl Seindole, of course, is killing it. But NXT is hot as fuck right now. It is so exciting to watch. I think everyone is understanding the assignment. Like there's no weak spots. Everyone is showing up every Tuesday night and is performing at the highest level. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but
Indeed.
it's such a
Oh
good
yeah,
time.
that was a nice topic of conversation last night on the Buckle,
Mm.
where myself and really with Mimi was like, yo, Sean might be the best booker in WWE right now.
Mm. I am gonna agree with you. Just off the Brian Waters is like,
Brian's thinking about it, and in my defense, I was like, all right, think about this. Ever since NXT went back outside for their premium live events last year, they haven't really missed, and they've just been cooking. You think of like the Carmelo and Trick stuff, the evolution of the women's division, the evolution of the tag team division, stuff like that. Like for over like the last year and a half, they've really been bubbling, and it's
yeah,
been consistent. Whereas the main roster has been kind of ebbs and flows, and that was something that Mimi pointed out yesterday. But that when you really stand back
yeah,
and think about it, it's like, yeah, Sean's been hella consistent. Like
yeah.
I can't remember an NXT show that's really like missed where it's like, what the hell are they doing?
I gotta give him credit. I'll say this: it's hard for me to say like best booker because when you compare him and Triple H, it is apples to oranges. Considering one is the main roster and one is a condensed, uh, developmental.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is the surprise factor is there, and there's times when we could think, oh, there's no way. Like for instance, Trick Williams and Ethan Page, right? You think, okay, this is how it's gonna go. Now, where does Trick go from here? And then they show, no, okay, we're gonna have a battle royal next week. Oh, by the way, more locker rooms. Subtle nuances. Bringing Cody down there on the anniversary of Dusty's death. The women, the way all of the women are being used. And one thing I will say, which I can say this about what he's doing even more than anybody else. He recognizes that black people and other people of color are various. It's not the same. You're not pigeonholed into the same gimmick. You're allowed to be yourself. You can be a nerd. You can be somebody from the streets, you could be an athlete, you could be a pretty boy, you could be everything. So I will say, I definitely got to give him credit. And he's given me what I've always wanted, which was multiple women's matches, multiple stories, to the point it's not like, oh, we got to have a women's match here. What's telling the best story?
Right. And I think too, what I always like to preach about is the future of wrestling. Like Shawn Michaels knows how to build new stars. And I love that he's building a brand where it doesn't feel like Trick feels just as big as any of the champions in WWE. He doesn't feel like he's lesser than, or, there's still that sense of this is, the tryout before the main stage vibe. But at the same time too, like everyone on the shows feels like they can potentially become something bigger.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the last time that's happened on NXT, like there was always just the one or two that was focused on. And then the rest was on the show. But I think now everybody, you're excited to see everyone. And what Rakarsha said, Seindole's NXT show makes it even better because her investment and excitement about it, and then be able to then watch NXT sort of after that and excited to talk about it with her the next week is, it adds to that for sure. For sure. So Tuesdays are, we are booked and busy. You got Justin on the buckle, and they very insightful conversations. If, definitely listen in on the buckle on Tuesdays as well, because they talk about a little bit of everything. So we're so much wrestling right now. Absolutely. And it's so fucking exciting. We're already thinking about Cleveland and SummerSlam and all of that. It's like never ending, which is what we love about wrestling.
Sprinkle in Justin's birthday, Pablo's birthday, and my birthday.
Oh my God, time is flying.
I literally had this mental conversation with myself after the gym today where I was like, yo, what are you really doing for your birthday? Because this is now like we're coming on almost like a month. Yeah.
Literally creeping up.
It's like, shit, I do got to start thinking about that.
And, let the fam know.
Oh, obviously.
Us. So let's how about we take a quick break, and then we'll get into some of our favorite Drew McIntyre moments. What we think about him overall. Like, I want to hear all of the intricacies of him, because the reason that he's exciting and interesting to talk about is because he's one of the people that was picked to be the guy. So I feel like those people always have like the ebb and flows, because then you have the forced era where you kind of have to still wrap your head around like, okay, this is the person I need to be rooting for right now. But it's like he feels like he came out of nowhere. Like, does he really have what it takes? And then you see the evolution and they grow into themselves. And then you have the era that Drew's in now. So it's exciting. And then you have the diehard fans that were fucking with him from day one, because he's been around. Remember with no facial hair? He's been around. So
yeah, what a
pictures.
Time.
Yeah.
Hey, I was a fan.
So Will and I am I'm a new fan. So and then you got Justin, who feels how he feels, and Seindole, who is a CM Punk loyalist, has her opinions. So right, she said, yeah, I'm gonna take the day off. I don't know if I can do this. So we'll take a break. We'll hear from our VIP that's in the comments, and we will be right back.
All right.
Besides the Zelina Vega photo, what has been your favorite photo that you have captured?
My favorite photo that I've captured besides the Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan. I capture her. Like, I have people I've always aimed to get a good photo for. Like, you can tell who are my favorite people. Like, I love shooting. Liv Morgan always brings it. She's such a big energy when she comes out. Bianca's a star. Like, my favorite photo this year has been my big three photo with Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. I wasn't close to the ring, but I asked someone. I was like, please, can I just get a photo of these three women? And I love that photo because I'm Puerto Rican and Black, and to be there for those three. I was there for Bianca and Sasha, and now Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. It's just reputation matters. Like I tell people all the time, like it matters. There can be a little young girl in the audience who sees someone just like us and be like, that's what I want to do.
Oh, I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And I know exactly what photo she's talking about.
Amazing.
Puerto Rican and black, so she's just mixed with awesomeness.
Right? It don't get no better than that.
God was chefing in there. She's like, yeah, you
No
got a little
shade,
this, a
no
little this, and
shade.
boom, greatness.
You got all the spice you need. Hey, Andre. Okay, so Matt brought up Drew during COVID. So I want to talk about this particularly because I feel like that is when I was checked the fuck out.
I must reach through the TV screen and touch you guys. I must reach.
I forgot about that.
Me too.
I did it because I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Is his hair gonna come through like the ring?
Is that forced era we was talking about of just like, what the fuck are we doing here?
So it's funny because I like now I think about it. I remember him winning the title. I remember him losing the title. I don't remember a lot in between. And I'm like, oh shoot. But I love, like, I was happy, one, because that was the point in time where we was like, get the title off of Lesnar. You feel me? But at the same time, it was also one of those things where he had to work. And I mean, there's no doubt about it. Bayley, Sasha, they was holding it down. We all know that. Yeah. And he was like the exponent, he was the subset. But I think when I look back at Drew, he, like you mentioned earlier, the first person to kind of hit the indies and get that reset. And it was something simple to me was when I saw him with a beard. I was like, oh, he looks badass now. As opposed to, he was the white meat baby face doing a 3-man band. And it's like, and he said that Brock Lesnar told him, like, dude, you should be doing more than that. And it's always funny when you hear like wrestlers tell those type of stories. And it's always even funny, like, when you see like it just in sports in general, right? If you hear like Derek Jeter, he might say, oh, my best friend on the team, and it might be like somebody who wasn't in the lineup every night. It might be, the bench player. Or in wrestling, you got like, say, like Cody Rhodes' best friend, for the sake of this conversation, is Ethan Page. You know what I mean? Like, they can be on far different levels. So it's like, yeah, I could see Brock going to him saying, hey, I noticed the potential in you when you got here. Why are you doing this shit? But I think COVID Drew, I think where it hurt was the fact that it was a baby face. Because when he first came back, when he first came to the main roster and he was Dolph Ziggler's heater, first I was like, man, what is this shit? And I remember, shout out to Dwayne, he was like, he sent me a picture of Shawn Michaels and Diesel. I said, oh, okay, I get it now. And then I was like, so the moment Drew ever turns on Dolph, he going through the roof, but he also, he helped get Roman back acclimated, shout out to him for that, being Roman's first WrestleMania match back after Roman, beat leukemia. But I think I'm glad we were able to celebrate him tonight because he doesn't get a lot of flowers he deserves.
I agree. And it's hard to be a baby face with no crowd. Like, especially when you're being forced down our throats and it's not authentic. It's not, in my opinion, when it comes to Drew at this time. So then it's like, I already feel like you're not connecting with me through the screen, but then there's no crowd to like supplement that. So I was very like, okay, I did feel bad that he didn't have a crowd for that one win. So Matt, I'm curious, what was it about Drew during COVID that hooked you? Because clearly he was doing something right if he was able to hook you during his COVID era. And I feel like he had just, because he was a bodyguard, like you were saying. And I'm a big Dolph guy. love Dolph. So I was just like, okay, what's gonna happen now? I was like, oh, okay, they're forcing it. All right, cool. I always thought he was like good to look at. Like he does have that part of it. So I want to shout out Face Beat Hills High podcast because Jeree on there nicknamed Drew McIntyre Snackentire because she was just like obsessed with him. And like when I say obsessed with him, I mean obsessed with him. And so Snackentire is what we're going to. I don't know if y'all want to refer to.
I mean, I'm not
calling that man Snackentire. That's just a whole lot of pause.
Okay, but I'm gonna refer to him as that because I remember at one point that was all he really did for me. I was just like, he's nice to look at, but it's not happening.
Then the bell rings,
and then
don't you hate when that happens?
His matches are good, right?
No, they're good, but I'm saying in general, it's just the phrase. Then the bell, like something else has to happen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's appealing. He looks great. Then the bell rings, and you're like,
like you're not interested. Like you recognize that he's a good wrestler. It's just he's not for you at that time. That's the way I interpret it.
Okay, Andre, we're not gonna say Snackentire. But that was really it for me. But he did glow up in the right way because you talked about him without a beard and how he was a little more on like the slender side. He wasn't like buff like he is now. But when he left and came back, I think he did everything that needed to be done.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And you say the glow up, like that's why I'm also curious what Matt has to say with COVID, because like honestly, during that pandemic era, Drew was probably like the 9th person I'm thinking of during that time. Because you got to remember, post that WrestleMania 36, aka the WrestleMania no one goes back and watches. Like you had more interesting toys at that time because you had Bayley, you had Sasha, you had Asuka, and the women just killing it. But you also had Randy Orton, where he brought back the punt and was just punting all like the legends to where it's like, oh, he's just retiring all the old folks. And then you have Randy Orton, Edge, and the greatest wrestling match of all time. That also happened during the pandemic. You had Bray Wyatt trying things with The Fiend and then bringing in Alexa Bliss to be, is she Sister Abigail? Is she not? So you had a lot more interesting moving pieces going on during the pandemic. And Drew was kind of like, it sucked that he didn't have a crowd there because if you go back and rewind that Rumble before outside shut down, he was over like Rover. Like people really liked that Rumble match. And that was really a Rumble match carried by 2 people. Brock Lesnar carried the first half of it. And then when Drew claymores his ass out of the ring, Drew carries the rest of the second half of that Rumble match.
That was a dope elimination.
And people were really excited for Drew McIntyre in that Rumble to where like, all right, I can see why people want to see Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar for the title. Unfortunately, the outside had other plans and the pandemic happened. That's where it really got taken from him. And then by the time we got to the Thunderdome era, Sasha and Bayley is clicking on full cylinders. Roman comes back in that SummerSlam, and now we get the birth of the Tribal Chief. And on top of Randy is just white hot to where it's like, yeah, Drew, we like your title reign. You're putting on solid matches, but there's just so many more interesting people right now that we don't even care about you. And you have one of the top titles. So then by the time you get to the, I don't know if it was Survivor Series, where you get to Roman and Drew, Roman undressed Drew right in front of him during that contract signing. Where he's like, yeah, the only reason you're champion is because I don't feel like working on Monday. It's like, you're the greatest number 2. And at that time, it was like,
good shit right there.
And at the time, it was like, yo, it's vicious, but he's right because you're kind of uninteresting compared to everyone else. Like at that point, we wanted Randy Orton to become champion. That's why at Hell in a Cell, you saw that title change because it's like, it's no diss to you. Randy's doing great work right now. And that pandemic era, you got to see who could really audible and figure out their groove, especially with no fans versus who really got hurt by that no fans. And Drew kind of got hurt by that. By the time you got to WrestleMania 37 and that match with Bobby Lashley, I'm glad it opened the show. One, because we all wanted Sasha and Bianca to main event night 1. And Mr. Redacted was trying so hard to go against that. Because you could tell he really wanted Drew and Bobby to main event that until it was just
that's his dream. Like that's his cup of tea. Big meaty men slapping meat.
There you go. He wanted Meat Mania.
But
And we were like, no, we want
Oh
black
gosh.
excellence.
I will say, I think there was, I like the attempt when he lost the belt to Randy to win it right back, so he could have a makeshift crowd in the Thunderdome. Um,
Mm.
you ain't like it?
Nothing is gonna substitute a live crowd.
Yeah, that's
And on
true.
top of
That's
that,
just how I
Randy
feel.
was doing really good work. Like Randy
But
was doing fantastic work.
Yeah.
It was one of those like, yeah, he got the title. We don't want to see him drop that yet.
but considering you're not wrong, but considering where we were going, right? And let's just say this was penciled in. I love Drew holding the title to get the Lashley as opposed to Randy. You know, with
Yeah.
Miz beating Drew, because then like it's like Miz gonna cash in on Randy again. You know what I mean? So I like that, and then going to Bobby and whatnot. But I get it. Nothing's ever going to substitute a crowd. But I felt like that was WWE's attempt to, because it was
Right.
like the first big world title change.
Yeah.
Well, Roman, but you know, it was like, okay, first babyface world title win. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah. I think one other moment during the pandemic that I wish had a crowd, because this was obviously them trying to make Drew the guy, was him beating Goldberg. I don't even know if you remember that.
I don't. When the hell was that?
So that happened in the Thunderdome, and they had a feud.
Maybe because I got on my Bret Hart and was like, it's Goldberg ill.
Oh God! Also, fuck him. Whoever's been, if you guys been watching What Killed WCW, let
I gotta
me know
catch
how
up.
you
Is it
felt
good?
about the. It is good. It is good. I will say all the shit I was talking about. What more can be said, because they definitely go into more of what the corporate side of that demise was, and not just from a wrestling company's perspective, which I mentioned before. So that was intriguing. And then it's not under the WWE victory lens. Like, it's from like people just saying like this is like what it was. Like, there's no, you have people from WWE in it, you have corporate people from TNT, you have like Conan is in it. Like, it's good. I think you would really like it.
Bad.
I think you really like it.
It's
But
on the
yeah.
list. Right now, we're just too stuck in Game of Thrones, about to go into House of the Dragon to get into this weekend where House of the Dragon also comes back.
Ooh,
So
nice.
I've been back in Westeros, and I will say this. I've been shitting on season 7 of Game of Thrones. It's not that bad. It's actually solid. I've always defended season 8, the final season. Season 7 is actually not that bad. It's just one of those where it's like, I wish it was 10 episodes instead of 7. I'm mad that y'all condensed these.
Just 7. Damn. The hell?
Yeah, because it was like blink, and it was like, wait, I'm already at the finale for season 7. Like, what the hell? But speaking of someone that would have been perfect in Game of Thrones, Drew McIntyre.
Right? He gives that vibe.
Oh my god. The Scottish Warrior and the Mountain versus the Hound. That'd have been a nice 3-way. Pause.
A nice 3-way?
Remember, the Hound was a big, tall dude. The Mountain was just a superior fucking strong man that's just like lily a mountain. And then Drew McIntyre is not a small dude. Like, he's what, like 6'4", and Jack, like he's big.
He is, yeah, he's huge. He
Or as they say in Game of Thrones, that's a big man.
See, I don't know if I'll get
nothing
into
about
it. I'll
Game
try
of Thrones.
again Game of Thrones. But did you guys see Willow and Swerve and them on the House of Dragon red carpet?
I saw it on Wrestling
On the
News Pop
premiere.
Culture.
Yeah,
That's
it was
exactly
and it
where
was
I
right
got
in Manhattan Center. It was right in Manhattan Center. So it was like right
wow.
there. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yo, the first time I seen the Manhattan Center, I was like, wow, that is it. That is where the beginning of my childhood wrestling, a lot of it took place.
I love when you come to New York, Brian, especially because you make me appreciate New York again, because your reactions to things I walk past all the time and I'm just like, whatever. And then your reaction, I'm just like, oh my God. But before you left, we were talking about, I don't know if you remember this, but Drew had a feud with Goldberg.
Why is that like?
and defeated him.
Yeah, see, Brian's like, when was that again?
Was that a crown? Was it pandemic or crown
It
jewel?
was Thunderdome.
It was Thunderdome.
It was Thunderdome.
So
And
definitely
he
pandemic.
won.
Oh,
He won.
so that means all right. So Goldberg wasn't champion yet, right?
I think it was a championship match, and Drew might have retained.
Okay, got you. Yeah, vaguely.
Okay. I was curious because that's just further proof. Because I feel like there's a checklist that WWE has if they want to make you the guy. Like you gotta beat Brock, you gotta beat Goldberg.
Why is Goldberg on that list? See, this is Mr. Redacted's fault. Like, why?
I'm gonna tell you,
he's a big star, I guess, in some people's minds.
I believe bingo, and I believe he came back and apologized and humbled himself. You know, I remember
it didn't sound like that when I went to WCW.
Right, definitely. You know, because I remember he said something like Cam Newton. He hated the fact that Cam Newton, you know, didn't show good sportsmanship during the presser, right? But you remember after he lost the Super Bowl, and he said basically he wanted to be a superhero because kids didn't get to see him in that light. So that's what I always felt like. He probably came back to WWE because you know there was always the saying when he was with when he first left when he first came to WWE in 2003, he thought he was supposed to basically be the same Goldberg that he was. And when he first lost to Triple H was like, "Oh, you got a problem? No, we're good." So I could see why he had to be, you know, as P said, the checklist person.
I guess in theory because he's a name, but then it's also like, bro, this is 2021, 2022. Like, we're not checking for Goldberg the same way where it's like it's not holding the same weight of like you beat Goldberg as if like you beat Undertaker. Like beating Undertaker is a big deal. Beating Goldberg in 2021 is like, all right, cool, but why is this old fuck even wrestling to begin with?
But you know what though? Talk to a WCW head that didn't go to WWE, like they completely stopped watching. They still love some Goldberg. And I'd be yeah, okay, like we know better, you know, but they love some Goldberg.
I think too, if it's a lot of people that look at wrestling from a very pure standpoint, where in their childhood that was the biggest star. So in their mind, they're just like, of course I love him, you know. And then the overseas crowd that's never seen him live, that's why he's always on those cards because that's when they can make big money matches because people are gonna. Of every generation is gonna be like, I've never seen Goldberg live ever in my life.
I'm about to go.
All right, cool. Let him face Mansoor. Do we need him in a title match though?
Mansoor. Oh my god.
Yo.
So I want to bring up the rest of the crew. The rest of the crew is here. Our beautiful friend Seindole.
She making that face.
Why are you making that face?
It's because
I'm here against my own will, but it's because I love you guys. I came here.
Can we word that better?
I'm here against my own free will. There we go. I've worded that better. How's that? That's what we're talking about. But because of you guys and because of the family, I am here.
So, were you ever a Drew fan?
No.
Now, is it because of his transgressions of what he's been doing lately with
he sucked before that, but okay.
Wow.
God.
I gave him so okay, here's the thing. I gave him lineage when he got released, and then he did the whole TNA thing for a little bit, and then he was in NXT, and I was like, okay, I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to, you know, turn the boy into a man, but other than that, he was annoying. So no.
Dang.
Yeah.
You know, I understand. I'm like this. I can't wait for the day the documentaries come out and Seindole sitting there and she see Drew and Punk sitting side by side. And they'll be like, yeah, man.
Hell freezes over. There we go.
I told you, happy Punk. You heard what he said to Roxanne, and Roxanne was like, I learned from you. Which was a
in
great
that
moment, by
face.
The way.
That says my Shannon Sharp face.
Yeah.
That's so good. That is so
I'm
good.
sorry, but I be giving him benefit of the doubt. Like, listen, I his petty work is good work. I will
Mhm.
never deny that, right?
Very
But
good petty work.
like how many times you gotta piss in the corner for everybody to see that you're like an actual dog? Like
Ooh.
I can't get with it.
Hashtag respect the petty.
And now
Spicy,
you literally have a title
spicy.
match. Why? Because we're on Scotland's. No, thank you. We were here last year. I prefer if we were not here again because we know how last year went.
Yeah, and this year's gonna be the same.
Exactly.
Disappointment, sweat, and regret.
Wow.
I hope he wins. I really do. I really hope he wins. But then it could also be help, like, you know, like it could be fun that he's always like this close to having a title and then doesn't have it, like when he won it and then Damian cashed in. So this could be fun.
I was mad.
Ooh.
I popped.
I laughed so hard
when he won. I was like the happiest person. I was like, yes, my guy won the title. My guy won the title. And then I'm like, okay, he's celebrating. Then he getting Punk's face. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Cool moment.
Exactly.
And then Punk, I said, oh shit. And then I heard the music, like, no, because you knew what was happening.
Listen, see, I love that we have different reactions because I celebrated like this, like Damian Priest cashing in and when that title was my Kofi Mania. Like, not only am I watching the second successful cash in at WrestleMania, it's my fucking guy, a Puerto Rican from New York. So it's one of my people winning that title to boot. I fucking lost it. The same way we lost it in 2019 at MetLife when Kofi won that goddamn title. But this was my guy.
Yeah,
doing this. So it's funny how like you were like, oh no, and I was sitting there like, that's right, motherfucker. one of us.
That's what makes wrestling great, man. All of that, like.
Well, listen, shit, I just did a no fucking way, and then I watched Punk take off that brace, and I watched him literally gracefully move out of Damian's way and sit Indian style on that announce table, and I clapped just like my boy Punk, and I said, "That's what your ass get." Because when you kiss your wife, sir, that's when you go home. You don't go taunting other people. Disrespect to your wife to be sitting in that what was it outside like 70-degree fucking weather. You just win the championship. You kiss your wife and you go act the ass like that.
Yeah, like no one told you to jump on the commentary table, straddling the commentary table to go talk shit to Punk. Like no one asked for this.
Damn well, it was going to cost you. It was going to cost you your life.
He really, like I was watching him like, Drew, go to the back. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're wilding take your wife right now.
To the back. Y'all supposed to go celebrate.
Yes.
Word. Like, pull an LA night. Go on a town. Go to Philly. Go to like that top restaurant, the really nice restaurant with the 360 view of Philly, and disappear until Monday Night Raw. That's what you're supposed to do. Instead, you thought it would be good to be Triple H and be in front of CM Punk. That's where we're at right now.
See, I wish y'all were sitting where I was because the longer he was doing that, I was like, I swear to God, if Priest fucking music hits, because he still got that briefcase, and then as soon as that shit hit, I'm screaming like, I called it. I remember the guys next to me vehicle. I'm just sitting there like, I called it. I called it. It's like, yeah, you did. Shut up now.
You know what? You know what makes me so frustrated, right? He has this habit after most of his title wins. Because swear to God, if it wasn't for the pandemic, he probably would have lost his belt at that time too, right? Because after his wins, we're going to flash back real quick to his win at NXT TakeOver New York, Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre for the NXT Championship. Man, listen, it was a slobber knocker. I will give him credit. It was another good classic slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
I love it.
She added mad A's to that.
Listen, no copyright infringement on our boy JR. But he literally won that match, and then he gets distracted by who? Bobby Fish and by Kyle
O'Reilly.
And guess what that set him up for? Guess what that set him up for? To be attacked by Adam Cole. Why are you still in the ring, sir? You slide out to the left and you leave.
Exit stage left.
Leave when you win your belts. He need to pull a quick one when Punk what will Punk do? Slide out the ring and hug the title up the ramp. That's the move you're supposed to pull.
Drew doesn't know about quick finishing.
Pause.
That's
Yo.
a good thing, right? I don't know.
I mean, not once, not twice, not three times word to LeBron.
Well,
It's like this
clearly
is
he
kind of your
don't
thing.
because no, Justin's not lying because clearly he don't. That's the moment Seindole talking.
There we
about.
go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that.
good
But
shit. Good
but clearly
shit.
he
Go
don't because he
home.
got
Why do I
he
feel like
got
I was
caught up with
there?
Mickey James.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't remember SummerSlam? That's why Tiffany got fired. His ex-wife.
Wait,
Because
Yeah.
yeah, all right. This is like
All right, let me get
2000
my
Story
Talk
time
Yeah,
with Brian and
about it, Brian. Talk
Quarters.
about it, Brian. This is so
Feeling
good.
some things
Yo,
right now.
this is you're bringing back to the last days of Tumblr. Go ahead, because I remember this. The tea is too juicy. Go ahead. Oh my god.
Spill the tea. Letty's in the
No,
building.
you took it back to Tumblr, yo. Wow. Yeah, so the story goes that Drew doing SummerSlam weekend, Drew McIntyre and Mickey James was hooking up, and when his wife came to, she must have been doing press or something. She comes to the room, Mickey James is on the bed, Drew's in the shower or something.
Ooh.
And then they got into a fight, and sure enough, Drew got suspended and then buried, and Tiffany got fired.
Because then they have to like call the cops because she was like stomping on
Probably.
hoes.
Probably.
Yes. Oh my
Wait,
god,
so
you have to
Mickey was out
Google
in these
it, Patricia.
streets.
I mean, it's
Google it,
Mickey
Patricia.
James.
It is old.
Wifey gotta take one for the
tea.
team. That's Mickey
I
James.
don't know.
She's the baddie.
Mickey.
What was
Oh,
it, the third time?
so Mickey out here. Okay,
She's
so
happily married now to
Right.
the British scrap daddy. Or that's on SmackDown.
She was trying to find her way.
wait, is that what we're calling him? British Scrap Daddy?
Well, I don't
Yeah,
remember
Lord.
his name. Nick Aldis. There you go. Well, scrap daddy is Adam Pierce. So it's like the
called
authority
it the-
figure.
Oh, that's how she knows the difference between GMs. We got it.
Scrap daddy. That's his name.
Well,
I'm
Adam
not
Pierce,
calling him
right?
Let him
Scrap
know
Daddy.
what's up. Let him know what's up. That's his Twitter handle.
Yeah.
It
It is.
does.
That could be his handle.
It's
That
like
ain't coming out of my
it's like-
mouth.
Okay,
It's
so-
like Scrap Daddy AP, I think.
Yes.
There we
Oh,
go.
so I don't know because you don't like him, but are you participating in calling Drew Snackentire tonight?
No.
All right. Can
I'll call him
I don't want to
Dretorius.
kill. Listen, I'm here. Can we just appreciate the fact that I showed up
I
to-
do appreciate
instead
that.
of calling out of work for this? Because like what the
That's
heck is
what Brian said
Mcintyre?
earlier. Like, is she gonna call out of work tonight because she don't want to? She doesn't want to appreciate Drew McIntyre. Okay, so one moment that happened in the pandemic that I'm sure is now on anyone's mind because they was really trying with Drew, but he won the Elimination Chamber.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big deal at the time because if you think about how like where he was on the car going into the pandemic was he was a tag team bodyguard, like that's kind of where he was, so now it's like, okay, feud with Goldberg, now you're winning in the Elimination Chamber and then you're the champion, like they was really trying with Drew at
Mhm.
this time.
Hey, that was the last one before the pandemic too, right?
Yeah.
Last PLE.
Yeah. Because after that, like I think what was it, 2 weeks later they had to shut everything down
Damn.
and they made those
I forget. I
choices.
just remember it was the Raw in DC, and then Lily the next day. They're like, "Yep, no more outside."
Yeah.
Insanity. Well, something else that Drew did is, and I want y'all to get, well, maybe it'll be easy for you to guess, but he did defeat a Hall of Famer on Raw. Can you guess that Hall of Famer?
A Hall of Famer on Raw.
I'm just gonna
In
take
front of
a
a crowd.
wild. I'm gonna take a wild guess and say Ric Flair.
I was gonna say Jake the Snake for some reason. Was it a Legends night?
Nope.
So it was pandemic? No, you said
Nope.
in front of a crowd.
In front of a crowd
All right.
on Raw.
Which version of Drew?
This is in 2022, August
Ooh.
28th, 2022.
Triple H.
No, wait, I'm so sorry. It was 2018.
Oh, but still.
I'm still gonna
good.
say Triple H.
No,
You said a Hall of Famer?
Shelton Benjamin?
nope.
No.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Oh, did I miss
Wait.
something? I mean, he
I didn't realize.
he's a good
Dang,
player.
alright.
Well, damn.
Player.
Everybody in the
2018.
Hall?
I'm probably say he's still active at this time. So Undertaker.
Nope.
No,
Not
What?
Sergeant Slaughter, not Ted DiBiase,
it's not Shawn Michaels, is it?
Mick
not Shawn
Foley.
Michaels.
Damn,
He
who?
actually beat this man and with his own finisher.
Hey, it wasn't Mick Foley.
Let
No,
me know when
wait.
you guess.
2010.
It's
So it's
not. Well,
not
Goldberg's
Edge.
not a Hall of Famer, so can't say
Booker
that
T?
either.
Nope.
God damm.
Let me know when you're ready. Now I'll reveal.
Nah, I'm not tapping.
Yeah.
Now
Alright.
we're gonna go the long way. Hold on, because you said Hall of Famer. I'm trying to think now.
Old man or
2018.
recent Hall of Famer? Were they
Oh,
Hall of
Bob
man.
Backlund, like who? Bob
No.
Backlund, like shit. Well, I'll
Shit,
give
Brutus
up.
Beefcake?
No.
Roddy Piper.
Do you guys want another clue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was from our era.
I'm
Rey
guessing.
Mysterio.
Mm-mm. I'm sure
So-
he's beating Rey
So
Mysterio. but
y'all's era. So the all right.
Oh, we talking attitude?
Yes.
Are we?
Kurt
we're
Angle.
talking-
Yes!
Oh,
Justin
shoot.
got
I forgot about that.
it.
Nah, because I was trying to think back
If it
of like
was Kurt, I
2018
don't
who
remember,
came
I'm
back,
sorry.
and Angle came back and did like
He
a
was kinda
couple
fake
matches.
active. He was fake active during that time.
He wrestled here and there because he definitely wrestles
Because-
34 in the mixed tag, and then he
Yeah.
retires at 35 in 2019.
This is
So-
rehabilitated Kurt Angle.
Hey, I just like to report something real quick that Ricochet is
What's up?
good.
He
Samantha
is?
just posted a picture
He's
of them two.
renewed.
He's okay. 'Cause,
Oh,
okay. He's renewed.
he got beat down. On Monday.
with all due
And
respect to Ricochet,
Why
it's
he's so
Samantha
Why-
good because my girl was crying and I was ready to throw hands with Braun Toretto like on spot. Like, yo, you
Braun
making my
Toretto?
girl, she's wearing this gorgeous dress in my favorite color. You gonna make her cry on national TV like this? Like, are you fucking serious?
She said one thing about me. I'm gonna go make sure my man okay.
Yeah, like she's checking on family. You remember that, Braun? It's all about family.
He don't got no family. He a beast now. He be doing sprints in the hallways. It's all about the paper. Hashtag justice for King of the Ring entry because he should have been in the King of the Ring tournament on that part.
Oh,
No, we
bro.
shouldn't have. What are
Yes.
you, Caitlin Clark? We're gonna fast track you? No, you earn your stripes.
We're gonna fast
Earn your stripes. You ain't getting on the Olympics just like that,
He
just because of your
definitely-
namesake.
But one thing
See?
about him, he
They're
definitely
good.
gonna be in that.
Ooh, they
they're
look
good.
good. They look good.
She said,
I mean,
"Am I
He
if I
looks
had-
great.
if I
He
had
could
her
smile
on
a
my
little,
lap-
but I get it. I got
if
thrown
I
like a
had her on
lawn
my
dart
lap,
on
I'll be
national
good.
TV. Let me recover.
They launched him
Shrug,
first of all,
shrug.
so
I
I don't
think
blame
this
him.
is the most I've ever heard about Ricochet the last like 2 weeks. Is the most I've ever heard his name, like ever, between people
That
talking about
part.
him online, on YouTube, on blogs, everywhere.
That part is like I've been saying this, and I said this on the buck. I was like, he's a fantastic in-ring performer. Like he's one of like honestly like top 10 for me. Someone you have to go see wrestle in person because the shit that
Oh,
he
yeah.
does,
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of people cannot do what he does, and he makes it look fucking easy. Like he really is like a
1000%.
superhero in person, but the discourse doesn't match like the talent. Where it's like, if he's that good, why aren't y'all really supporting him consistently? Versus like all of a sudden he's going to possibly leave WWE. Now you want to talk about how he's being underutilized. Now you want to talk about they should be doing more of him. Like, where the fuck was this for like months
Same
and
thing
years and
happened
shit
with
like that?
Ali.
right. We should be doing a Ricochet appreciation night instead of sitting here talking about thick daddy leg Drew McIntyre. I'm just saying.
What you call it? Thick daddy leg.
Thick daddy leg.
Ricky
Third day.
Mcintyre.
No, I'm not doing that.
I will say, Seindole, going on the list.
What thick daddy type? I made the list. Okay,
Yeah,
You just made the list.
I made the list.
Wait, y'all remember him
Wait.
being NXT champion?
Yeah. It was brief. Was that a month? Like I
What?
feel like he
Won
won.
his
McIntyre's?
NXT
He got
championship?
injured.
Yeah,
He got injured.
He
That's
won
what
the
it was?
title, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a tricep or AC. It was a significant injury that he had to drop it. So
It
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 was
wasn't
wasn't
that
after
long.
it was after his match with Adam Cole. He got injured. So even though Adam
Did
Cole
he
like,
drop the
lost that
title?
match.
No, he couldn't have dropped the title.
No, he didn't. It was like a.
I'll look it up in a sec.
Because I'm.
I
just
used to
watching
actually
it
know
for
the
this thing.
NXT lineage like by heart, but life happens and you tend to forget some things. Like at one point, I was like, "Oh, I can ring all the champions like boom, 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 boom," and not no more. But yeah,
All I know is he was champion, and now his watch has ended. Yo.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Out of respect though, because this is Drew Appreciation Night. I know we're sitting here roasting him like it's Comedy Central.
Well, it's not. It's like you're nothing if you're not talked about. So even if it's bad, it's still appreciation night. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know what it is? It's like we're giving you your flowers because you are doing great work now, and you have been the last couple of months. But it's also been like a journey of like there was a times where this shit wasn't hitting, and it was about the jokes. And it was about the road sessions, and you've turned that around when you worked the Indies, when you went to NXT, when you hit that heel turn and teamed up with Dolph Ziggler, which I enjoyed. That's when he got back on my radar because I wasn't around for 3MB or the Prodigy or clean face pudgy Drew or smashing Mickey James. Like I wasn't around for that. I was around for when he came back
That's
with Dolph Ziggler.
Repertoire now.
But you know what though? Listen, in NXT, I give him the benefit of the doubt. He cooked here and there. What I always was like, all right, where's this gonna go? Type feud with him was him and Andrade, because this was fresh. This was fresh Andrade. This was coming back Drew McIntyre, and their match was actually pretty good. He had some really good matches at NXT. But then it was like I could tell, you can kind of tell throughout his feuds and stuff at NXT, they were just using it to fast track him back to the main roster. And I'm like, well, you killed my momentum at them. So why can't he stay here like everybody else? In my opinion.
No, I get it. To me, I always thought he was just coming in really just to get acclimated with the WWE style again. It was never meant to keep him there for a long time.
Right.
And at that time, you also remember too, that was that black and gold era was, the indie darling, indie god era. So, which I was happy because, again, like I was a fan when Drew first came and, he was deemed the chosen one, the music. After a while, I was like, okay, I like him. He can work. He was the Intercontinental champion. But then somewhere down the line, when they started, like, it just, and you like listening now, it's like, oh, yeah, the Mickey James stuff. And then next thing you know, he was a freaking he was being thrown in a 3MB, and I'm like, oh Lord, this is terrible. And I remember I used to always say, nah, but Drew's gonna be okay, and like, nah, he is done, he's cooked.
Was there anything good about 3MB at the time? Because you know how sometimes in the moment it's just like entertaining, and then you look back and like, did it really suck?
Yes. To me, the best thing about it was I'm about to say Heath Ledger. Heath Slater got on TV. Because when you think about it, he's the only one that didn't become a world champion anywhere.
So, he got kids, right?
Yeah.
Last I checked. Okay. Unless he's pulling a Drake.
Drake is a dad now. Okay, check his Instagram. Okay, he was cosplaying as a soccer dad on his Instagram.
Dear Dallas, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest.
Drake, the one who wanted to hide his kid from the world, but the kid wanted to hide from the world.
What is Drake? Okay, so
quick note to circle back on what Brian was saying. When he got injured in NXT, he tore his bicep and then ended up losing the title. And since you are a man that cares about lineage, he loses the NXT title to Andrade. So that's where Andrade's run began as NXT champion.
Shout out to Andrade. I do want to remind everyone that we do watch AEW Dynamite as a family in the fan club. So turn it on another device and watch us, listen to us, and watch AEW. Oh my God.
I like that, another device.
Because, everybody got multiple screens. You got a laptop, you got monitors, you got your cell phone, you got your iPad, you got your fucking everything.
So what you saying? There's no excuse for ratings when people be saying, "Oh, the ratings wasn't this."
The ratings wasn't this.
No, I mean, there's no excuse not to be tuning into fan club.
Most
personally, I'm going to laugh if AEW goes the petty route to answer for last night on NXT.
No, it didn't fucking answer. They've been throwing jabs ever since Homeboy showed back to WWE. The one little jab that NXT pulled, you're gonna mean to tell me that's gonna make them salt? Well, then again, if I got who I'm talking about, but it's gonna make them salty,
bro. Like, don't go against DX. Like, at the end of the day,
don't go against Shawn Michaels.
We was there. Me and P was there the night when they celebrated DX for the umpteenth time.
You don't know where I'd be at.
The
She'd be like, I'm back
concourse.
outside.
But God dang. But
You don't know where I be.
You don't
I'm
know
sorry.
where I
I'm
be.
sorry.
You don't know where I be.
I'm sorry. I'm a gangster. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm back
You know-
outside.
You know what happens to people that think they know where I be at?
but but you know, so, goodness gracious. So that night, Raw in Brooklyn, DX25, we were celebrating. And the thing about it, at the end of the night, Shawn Michaels and Triple H had a moment. And this is like when the time when they were both essentially taking over everything, right? And it's just one of those things like, yo, you don't want that smoke with them. They don't lose.
They
Like,
don't.
Imagine they had that much influence as the Click,
mhm.
and now they actually have the job titles to back it up. There's no stopping them at this
they
point.
got the pin.
Their papa got fucking banished. So now it's like, oh, we can really
The
play.
pen.
You can really play.
The pin. And it's over. So yeah.
It's over.
Nah, you gotta give it to him. Sean's been chefing over there.
Nah, he
He
really
been
has.
playing Emerald. He been bam.
Mhm.
If there's any Jay-Z fans in the building, he opened up for Tom Brady's Hall of Fame induction.
Ugh.
Oh, dope. I ain't know Brady. I don't understand why
Surprise
Brady's
performance.
okay.
So
Yay,
for
I
those
guess.
that celebrate Jay-Z behavior,
I wish
Jay-Z
I
Jay-Z
love
was a-
Hove, but Brady's like, Patriots.
No,
Boston,
I wish Brady Jay-Z was at the roast.
Now that would be funny.
Nah, Hove ain't doing anywhere. Nothing.
He wouldn't do. He
Nope.
wouldn't do a roast.
Nah, I
He
don't think
wouldn't do
that'll
a
be.
roast.
I don't think that'll be right.
Oh,
He
he'll
is
never do
very
a roast.
much-
Are you kidding me? It's like, oh, God, here comes 1,000 camel jokes again.
No.
How are you a 35-year-old wearing
No.
open-toed jeans with chancletas on?
Chill. Billionaires can do whatever they want.
I mean, that man's a billionaire. Let that man
yeah,
be.
billionaires can do whatever
Hove
they
catches
want.
enough strays on social media alone. He ain't gonna be doing anything like, let me put myself on national TV on a
Right.
roast. No, thank
Right.
you. There's not enough money to be like,
You
no.
can't roast a gangsta. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Like,
just
if
saying I
you
wish
get
he would
him,
roast Brady.
him and Rick Ross to go into like Wild 'N Out, giving the same vibe. Because remember when Rick Ross went to Wild 'N Out, and before they can even start like the cipher battle they do at the end, Rick was like, hold on. Ain't nobody finna roast me because when he roast me, and he punked Nick, and Nick was like, I don't want to roast you anyway, nigga. You lying. You had jokes lined up for days, and he had to punk your ass. Him and Fat Joe the same energy. So I was just like, I'm not surprised. Because Fat Joe's like, you ain't gonna talk about me.
So let's
Can't roast
pivot
them.
really quickly because I am very excited about this. Hey, Dylan. So she's asking how long before WWE signs Jordan Grace.
Ooh,
Oh,
think it's
Now I
coming
want
soon.
to hear Seindole talk about this because obviously Jordan Grace showed up and showed out on NXT recently. She was on the PLE this past weekend in Vegas. How did it feel to see
Match of the night.
of all? How did it feel to see her in such a prominent match? How do you feel about her in NXT? And how do you feel about her potentially doing more in WWE?
So one thing is definitely that match stole the entire review. Did even better than the men. And if you watched, you know. I'm not lying on that fact. Secondly, they've been trying to fit a way for her to be in there since the Royal Rumble. That says a lot. Third off, now you have somebody who not only is peak interest in the WWE, but the fans as well. It's going to be a matter of time before you definitely see her back in the WWE. It may not be on NXT even, but it's just waiting on who they decide to give the Knockouts title to. Right now, there's two fronters. They can either give it to Giselle Shaw, if you watch TNA, or Ash by Elegance. Something tells me they're waiting for the Ash by Elegance program to be done with Zion Brookside before they do that. If they end that Zion Brookside and Ash by Elegance profile, then yes, Ash by Elegance will be your next Knockout champion. That gives Jordan Grace a couple more times to simmer down on her contract. And now that Gail Kim has graced herself back in WWE, I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. That's my opinion. Because TNA seems very gun-ho, like the whole new management for TNA was at Battleground. Not doing that unless you're like, okay, we need to showcase how this is going to work out, and can this be a transitional move for both companies? That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. I think it. I agree with you, Seindole, and I also think like it'd be cooler if WWE continued to like take advantage of the hypeness of the Forbidden Door, where it's like Jordan Grace might never be signed, but she might just pop up now and again and surprise people and have a killer match, have a killer feud, and that could be possible for everyone. Like I would love to see Ash by Elegance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Appear back at NXT, but she don't have to re-sign as Dana Brooke. Like show up and you know, I think that's like the exciting part of it is like, does it really have to be like a contract thing? And that could also just me being like contract talk fatigue, where it's like I'm so over talking fucking renewals and you know that type of shit, releases and stuff like that. Like I'm so over that. Like I'm like, can we move the fuck on? Like so who knows? Who knows?
I think you have right now what's going on, this whole contract thing, and I kind of hinted at that. Aside from the fact that everybody's done being content with where they're at, we're dealing with a company that was bought out by another company who handles their negotiations a little bit more differently. So people are not just gonna, if this was Vince McMahon company and he was just throwing you random dollar amounts, you're gonna be like, let me extend my shit. But there's something within the contract bylines now with TKO and with all these deals that like, hey, we may not be able to give you A, B, C, D, F, G, but we can give you X, Y, and Z. But you know, your money might not change, or we give you opportunity, but your money might. It's different contract talks. That's why you have some people that are just like, is it worth it to stay here? Or they could be in a compromise that's like, hey, it's not on some shit where it's like, listen, if you leave, you can never come back here again. Because that was kind of like the narrative to a lot of people. Or you may never be allowed if you just walk away from WWE. Now it's more like, you know what, if you feel the need for your contract to run out, you know, we'll be here. Like, and that's the language that's always been spoken. Like, we'll be here. That's why you see, if it wasn't like that, Punk would have never came back. You have people like Ethan Page who waited, like he said, 17 years. Like, to know that he like literally he's been in every single major known independent company now. And WWE says last stop. That's a gift for him. Jordan Grace is able to walk in and walk out. That's a great for her. And then somebody who was just released got to appear back on NXT television. That says a lot.
That was dope.
And I was so really happy to see her. I was like,
so
yeah, you cool. Knocked useless Tatum Paxson to the ground because homegirl useless. I don't know what she's doing right now.
Love the passion.
Yeah, but it excites me because we are really looking. It's not just a portal. It's literally looking at more opportunity. I don't have to, you know, bite my fingernails every time if I see Ash by Elegance and I'm like, okay, she's not losing her spot in TNA. She's just doing the WWE a favor. And then it's like all the boosting talk, like, hello, they interested in Mustafa. The rumor is, they want Mustafa Ali back.
I would be so here for that.
They wouldn't mind running a program with Mustafa Ali, and you know how I feel about in Mustafa. I trust, honey.
I don't know if this is the place to talk about this, but I really honestly feel like
because remember, this is wrestling, and especially WWE. You're talking sports and entertainment. If you're gonna be that sports part, this is something that we see in sports all the time, where there's an off season, and what do we hear? Contract negotiations. This player is a free agent. This player wants to go visit these teams before they sign. He wants to get traded over here. We see this in all the major sports, whether it's NBA, should be like, NFL, like soccer, and stuff like that. So it's cool to see this in wrestling.
So black and white. It doesn't have to be so black and white. It doesn't have to be like you wrestle here, you wrestle here. And also, like, I'm just thinking, just from like, I don't know if it's just I'm just still in like work mode, but like different employee types, like Ricochet, even, or Ali or Jordan Grace. They don't have to be contracted WWE superstars to show up in WWE and make big moments and pop up. They can still do, I think, like, they might actually benefit from that. Like, Ali might actually get more over popping up every now and again and doing things in other companies than he would trying to do the usual WWE formula of making him a star. Like maybe that's when he connects with people, where he disappears for 8 months and then pops up for 2 months and then like what if that's that new wave of like, because it was really now, especially like with the Netflix deal, like it's really now about creating people that you want to see, that's entertaining, that's going to capture your attention. It's not necessarily just also about like, okay, who's the next world champion. Now it might just be about like, who can we put on a show at any point in time that's going to draw.
And then you think about too, like you're about to come off of NXT, like you're about to come off of network changes, right? Right now, out of all three shows in WWE, SmackDown does the most like rate numbers, buy rate numbers,
right,
out of all three. Like it's SmackDown, Raw, the NXT, right? NXT pulls the same numbers, if not they're always neck and neck with Dynamite. Then it's Rampage, then Collision falls behind, right? But you also have to think about the fact that NXT is going to a non-cable network now. It's going to help them boost, depending on when they put the show on, right? Then you have Netflix. This is their first time doing live sports. Their first tryout is supposed to be this Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. That's on pause. So if we really look at what's going to be the first event to be live on Netflix, is going to be Raw.
Oh,
So
technically,
we
it was
don't
the
know how
Comedy
the numbers
Central
gonna
roast
do.
of Brady because that was done live.
No, I'm talking about for sports.
But yeah, but for sports, this will.
I'm talking about where
probably-
something being weekly on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
They don't have anything yet on a weekly consistent basis.
Wrestling would
So we're
be
gonna see.
the place to try
And
that
so the
out.
only way they know pull their numbers, the only way they're gonna really be able to pull their numbers is to pick from a fishbowl and see what attracts people and what's not. Listen, NXT was sitting in the 600s. They're sitting in the 500s even. Sexy Red, Jordan Grace, and Ethan Page showed up. They boosted up to 700s. Without Sexy Red before Battleground,
Right.
they were back up.
Oh no, she dropped off.
Like completely.
See, Netflix is like you talking too much. You're too close, man. You're too close.
This is exciting, and like you said, P. I like everything you said. As far as not signing the people, just having them do this, it just keeps it special when you look at everything overall. You look at a Jordan Grace, because it's also, I think what's going to take that to another level is if you see one of the titles change, because then it's like, wait, are we really doing this? Is like, if say Jordan Grace does win the championship, take it to TNA, or somebody takes the North American title and takes it to TNA. Now
So
it's
like
like
what the Hardys did with the Expedition of Gold, or what Kenny Omega did in AEW.
Yeah, and I think that's what can make a difference. So it's definitely going to be something that's going to be fun to watch as we move forward, especially as we do go in. Like they breaking all the rules. They breaking all the rules.
Oh, definitely. Once I saw Jordan wrestle Roxanne, I remember that she's doing an open challenge on TNA, and immediately I was like, yo, I want Natalya to pull up so bad and answer that, just so you can get Natalya and Jordan Grace not only to wrestle, but wrestle in TNA and have Natty go over there.
Yeah. Ooh,
Listen.
I would die for that.
Especially the lineage that like Seindole and like you guys have talked about with TNA and that Knockouts division, and have someone of Natty Neidhart's stature.
Oh my god!
When you watch, especially when you watch Natty's videos on social media of her working in the dungeon, so you know when she's wrestling some of these girls on WWE, she's going at maybe 60% speed, because when she's working in the dungeon, it's like, yo, why aren't you doing that shit in the ring? Like now, but it's also like,
because
she's probably in there
I would
with.
probably cry my eyes out.
But then if you let her go to TNA and go face Jordan, it's like, oh, so we're gonna get Natty's shackles off.
And as she should be the first person they think about with that transition, because Miss Natty is worldwide. Okay, she's not just local; she's worldwide, according to the Guinness, honey. So that should be their first choice. They give her every appearance. Let that be the next appearance they give her. Mama is worldwide. Prestige.
Yes.
Prestige worldwide. Wow.
So to bring this back to Drew,
Oh, we still talking about him? Damn.
Snackentire, yes.
I'm gonna say Snackentire. God damn it, you made me call him Snackentire. I
You
just
said
said
it.
it. Snackentire
I
in TNA
win.
at one point. Fuck.
Yes. So y'all notice WWE has been a little bit more risque lately.
Word to
How
Sexy
do you
Red.
Sexy Red, Liv Morgan literally wait, what did
Yo,
fucking
Mount.
Cal say on
Meechin
the
smacked Jada's ass like back-to-back weeks. It's like,
Yo.
oh, you're doing the Lord's work.
Jiggled,
Like
it was
Her fucking
jiggling.
hip,
It
that
was
fucking hip
jiggling.
check. I was
Meechin
like,
was
you
like,
trying to
I
knock
got
her head
to.
off?
I got to.
Yeah,
Not
he,
once but twice.
Liv hit his cow said Liv hit the mount on the Dom.
I love that. He
Daddy
really did.
Dom.
Even all of that shit is
Yeah, she
wild.
got on
How do
top of
you
that man. You know nothing, Dominic Mysterio.
Oh,
So
Lord.
how do y'all feel Drew is gonna benefit from that now? Because now that he can kind of be more himself, he's been successfully trolling Punk. Sorry, Seindole, but this more like I don't give a fuck side to him. How do y'all feel he's gonna benefit from this more like edgier, relaxed style on WWE programming?
We see his personality, you know what I mean, and I think he gonna show off at home. Like he would do like little subtle stuff, like when he was a baby face and he was they were over there and the Spice Girls was in town at like one of the shows, and so he would like use their promo, like use their line. I tell you what you really want in his promos and stuff. But I think now you're going to see a different aura about him that he's going to just test, like he's just going to not care because, like you said earlier, when he was on social media and somebody said 545 of his, it was actually 546 dick face, so yeah, like this
Yo, me and Justin had the same thing.
yeah, it's hilarious. So I'm like, that's a great question as always. I think he's just going to show like he really don't give a fuck.
No, he really
Which
doesn't.
we don't have a problem with, right?
Mm-mm.
However, how long is this gonna last? Can
When
he
he's
be?
your
I
world
mean,
champion Saturday.
I mean,
he's
he's
not
carried this
winning.
from was it
For the
Rumble into
ill.
here, and it's like this. I take no shit. I talk my mind. I speak my mind. I use social media to like get my shit off. Like these last 6 months has kind of gotten him over to where it's like this has been very interesting.
Hate is a
Yeah.
hell of a motivator, right? Look at Punk, what he did for Drew and Seth Rollins. Hate is a hell of a motivator. It took them to whole new levels. And then Rollins was already there, but he still went to another level. Drew McIntyre's going to another level. Damian Priest, because Drew went to another level, Damian's been going to another. I think Monday night, the first time I was like, all right, I'm finally taking Damian Priest serious as a world champion. And a lot of that is with the Judgment Day, but then he's also showing up late while Finn Balor is taking Liv Morgan's key so he can have it for himself. But also,
You said it's my turn.
but also,
I have a theory about that, but I'm gonna let you finish before.
yeah,
I get
but I'm
into
just
my
saying.
theory.
Also, at the end of the day, I just think like Drew McIntyre is like pushing Damian Priest, and this is what vets do. OP.
What?
What do you do? The look you gave?
You know.
What?
Nah.
I was about to say, you know what? You know nothing, Brian Waters.
I want to
like, where are we going with this?
I want to know. No, okay.
Way to bring this to a screeching halt, God.
I'm sorry.
I have a theory on. So, real quick,
Go ahead on the theory.
am I the only person who thinks that this is a weird setup between somebody on the Judgment Day to try and break away the Judgment Day? Like, could it be Finn Balor being tired of it? Or could it be Damian Priest like, listen, stay out of my business, so let me keep Dom occupied with something else so they don't interfere in what I got going on? I just feel like it's giving inside job right now.
That is very spicy.
It's giving inside job. It's giving sabotage from inside the house. The fire was started inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting that in the theory hat. If we can add it to
I
the
could
list.
see everything going to
mean-
shit with mommy gone.
Seindole
Right.
has a point, because if we go back to last year where Finn was trying to get that world title and couldn't, and Priest was like, yo, I'll cash it and finish off what you can't handle, which is beating Seth Rollins, and they had that friction for a minute. It could always be Finn never forgot that. You're holding a belt that I never got, and I remember you were talking shit the entire time when I was feuding with Seth and I couldn't win those matches.
And Andre just said it right in the chat, right there. That's my point right there. He said, verbatim, Damian been letting a lot of shit slide since he took over. Mommy would have never let slide. Liv would have never been able to put a finger on Dami Dom.
Now
Now she's straddling him.
Now she putting more than fingers on Dami Dom. She putting tongues. She putting legs.
Chill.
She mounted that man and said, "Wash me."
He would have never even been allowed.
That was a
He
good
would
one.
have never even been let up around ringside if Mommy was there. She would have yelled at him to take his ass to the back, and he would have been in the back. But nope. I'm telling you, it's giving inside job. It's giving
But
self-sabotage.
she's not there. And when
Crisscross.
mommy's away, Liv will play.
It's giving crisscross.
And Drew McIntyre's gonna walk right in and walk right out of Clash at the Castle.
I really want him to. I really want him to win.
He
That's how
gonna
I
walk
know
out
I'm
of Scotland
really
the
on
same way he
Drew
walked
train.
in, empty-handed and mad at Punk.
Burn. This is my aunt's wrong, but a burn.
That's right. Punk gonna do something to cause Drew that match and be like, as long as I'm here, you will never know peace.
I love it.
Give me Punk versus Drew at
Always.
SummerSlam.
I mean, it's what in wrestling timelines is what 6 months for a torn tricep to heal. SummerSlam would be right around the time where Punk will be able to come back if he's ahead of schedule. Just saying.
Hey, that dude took off his
We're
arm.
kind of getting there to where, like, yeah, Punk watch might be on.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm
I'm
not
So
going to
team
Cleveland.
Drew.
I'm not
Me
going
too.
to Cleveland, but I want to see that happen. Like, if it is happening, I hope it's happening. I hope it's not happening at Money in the Bank. That's for
Cleveland
sure.
rocks. Where is money? Toronto.
Toronto.
Yes.
Across the border.
Who is going to Cleveland? I want to know if that is a go for anyone in the VIPs or just.
I'm
What?
sorry, you lost me at Cleveland.
Oh my god!
Give me all the cities.
Nobody wants to come to Toronto. Me.
I would love to, but it's like
I would love to
Yeah, I
do
would
Toronto.
love
when
to
is
do
Money in the Bank?
4th of July
July.
weekend.
Next
Oh,
month.
I wish. That's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, thanks a lot, WWE, for cluttering all these premium live events where it's like, oh yeah, 2 weeks later you got Saudi Show, then Battleground,
They've been
then
cooking.
Clash of the
It's a
Castle,
lot.
then
Yeah,
Money in the
have
Bank.
They don't-
They're cooking, but it's also is getting back to that fatigue that we had when in the Mr. Redacted era, especially like what was it, like 2016, 2017, where
Oh,
it was
when they had
almost
the
like a
brand
pay-per-view every 3
exclusive?
weeks.
Yo,
Yeah. the
what's
brand
my
exclusive.
guy's
was wild.
name? Vlad. You ain't Vlad.
Oh, he go to everything.
Everything.
I was gonna say what, Vlad TV?
No.
No.
Oh, okay,
The
good.
guy.
So good Vlad, not controversial Vlad. But that's another story.
Okay, so I have a question. Oh, go ahead, Seindole.
No. I was saying that I do realize getting fatigued, but also it's been doing better for the continuity of a lot of storylines. And then they let the background storylines heal up after that. Like, listen, I'm not gonna complain about seeing Jade and Bianca every PLE actually defend the title. But I agree with you. It is giving fatigue, but also keep in mind they're not using as many players in every single PLE like they used to back in the day. It's not the same people. Like, you're not going to get the same John Cena match every single PLE. They know how to split their time if it makes any sense.
No. I'll give you
does.
that. Like they've kind of we're not doing the brand split PLEs, but we're quietly have been.
Yeah.
To where it makes sense. It's just a matter of like it's back to back to back. Where sometimes like, oh shit, wait, there's a pay-per-view this weekend. Which one? Didn't we just have one 2 weeks ago? And it's kind of been like, yeah.
And then this weekend
That's
we got
the
freaking
issue.
Forbidden Door is this weekend, isn't it?
It's coming up where it's like, bro, it's summertime. We're
Sheesh.
outside and doing everything else. You're telling me there's another show?
That's because you fucking stream for hours when there's an event. So you like,
Mhm.
damn, I want to go out on the weekends.
Like,
Can I ask the chat a question?
No.
Sure.
Yes. Yes.
Why
of
is
course.
MJF beefing with Roosh?
Oh, he needs something to do, honey.
He
It's
needs something
Forbidden
to
Door
do
season.
because what?
No idea.
Adam Cole still not cleared.
Adam
Okay.
Cole's still not cleared. On top of that, the world title, they have Swerve going up against Will Ospreay. So they can't interrupt that program yet. They can't just throw MJF back into the world title fixture. He's kind of got to be on this. You guys are all going to love my redemption arc type shit. The type of redemption arc we all were on with Drew, but that fell short. You're getting it with MJF.
Oh, why is it?
And of course, ain't no one gonna pick
short?
Roosh to beat MJF.
It did fall
right
short.
now.
It
Which
did
one?
fall short. I don't want to hear you sing to half of. I don't want to hear you sing to half of Glasgow. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't want to hear you.
Oh,
no.
after the match?
Yeah, no. I don't want to hear
Oh,
Sweet
well.
Caroline. You generic. No, no.
Well, he wasn't taking down the
Take-
top. She.
Take your thick leg and kick somebody down with that claymore.
No,
and move
he's
on.
facing the Puerto Rican sensation, the zesty Undertaker. Like, nah,
The
you ain't
zesty
beating him
name is the
either.
Undertaker.
The Undertaker.
I'm not calling him that.
That's
He's my
good,
world
that's
champion. I ain't doing that.
He's giving bad.
I think
bitch.
the title of this episode
Mamacita.
has
He's
to
giving
be
all
the
that.
Snack Taker versus Cunt Taker.
But you- Look,
I refuse to call my world champion a Undertaker. Like, nope.
You saw that picture.
That
He was serving
is
Justin.
wild.
He was serving. I'm just. That's my champ. That's my champ. I can't call him that shit. Maybe when he's
feel
not
you. I
champion,
feel
we
it
could
now,
revisit that.
we'll revisit Monday or Sunday. I'll
No,
give
we
you Sunday to heal. So we revisit Monday.
I just sent y'all something through the group chat, and that's how I
I
feel
was
about
say,
it.
if
Like,
Drew wins on Sunday, I'm claiming white privilege. Like,
But
that's
it's-
the reason he winning.
What?
This is racism.
in his hometown, what are you talking about?
I said what
Justin.
I said.
Justin.
My
I
guy
don't like
didn't
the
even
guy,
get
but that's
90.
a bit much.
He didn't even get 90 days with the title. He didn't get 90 days on the job.
You
He
just
didn't even
had
get
to send that
benefits before he
photo
took that
to
shit
him,
off
though.
of him.
Huh?
Do we have
God.
to remember that? That was a bad time.
Yes, but so here's my point to that, right? If you wasn't fucking with Drew during the 3-day man band in his skinny era, I don't want to hear you talk about how great he is now that he's a snack taker or whatever he is today. Exactly. I don't want to hear about none of that shit. If you wasn't messing with Drew McIntyre with the comb over going
I
against
was.
shenanigans, listen, going against Sheamus
champion.
what was Sheamus shenanigans or something like
I
that?
don't know because I never really banged with Sheamus.
Yes, I don't want to hear it.
So what captured your attention, Brian?
Did Drew? You want the
Yeah.
honest answer?
Of course I do.
Go.
Vinnie Mac told me he was the chosen one.
You
Like-
drink the Kool-Aid.
I drank. Look,
drank
what was I? Probably
Mr.
like
Redacted's
20
Kool-Aid.
Hey,
Ew.
chill.
Did you
Ch-
stir the
when
sugar
I was like,
at the bottom?
I was about in my 20s.
You know Mr.
And, you
Redacted
know-
don't know to put no sugar in that shit.
But you got to think about this. If Vince
He probably
didn't
gave
come out
Brian
with
Tang.
everybody, he didn't come out with all the wrestlers. So that right there was like, okay, this is the guy right here. And you know, he kind of won the Intercontinental title early. So yeah, that's what made me a fan. And you know, him like John Morrison, I rode till the wheels fell off. Unfortunately, Morrison never, the wheels never fell back on. But McIntyre, when McIntyre left and he became Drew Galloway, I was like, like I said, he had a beard, and then he was winning the TNA titles over there,
Can we
winning
talk more
everywhere.
about that?
But that's what made me like stay a fan. I was like, oh wait, if my guy ever come back, because I took heat, like, oh, you liked Drew McIntyre. He was that guy. Like, who in the world liked Drew McIntyre? And then he come back, so yeah, that's what made me a fan though.
Can we talk about his TNA?
Yeah, please do,
run,
because I don't
and the
remember
fact
him
that
in TNA.
at one point-
school me.
At the fact that at one point,
wanna
ironically, he
learn.
was cool with LA Knight when he was in TNA for a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Stupid. What else? He had really good programming. He was mixing it up with a lot of he was like get into it with everybody pretty much. He got into it with Jeff Jarrett at one point.
Lashley.
Lashley. He had a lot of good. I think his and not to shade, I think his most improved matches, and I know that's probably why I knew he was ready to be back in WWE was his TNA matches. Because he even said in his documentary, he was like, listen, he was on his way, he got married, and he got released, and he was like, he could either sit on his ass or figure something out. And that's what someone told him about Impact changing, and he went to Impact. And I think some of his best matches were in Impact. I enjoyed his I found him watchable.
I'm glad you
on
said change
Impact.
because that's the post Hogan Bischoff era.
Right. Thank God. But I enjoyed that era of Drew. I was like, okay, I can get why, the people like him. I listen, 3-man band, God forbid, we lived through those days. We lived through those days. Look at where he is look at where he was at then. Where he went was actually with that Bobby Lashley feud. That was pretty good.
That,
in my opinion.
I would say that was very,
yeah.
Nice matchup.
I'm trying to think for what other matches.
No, I think he's injured, Dylan. I think Bobby Lashley's injured.
Yeah, he's injured.
Mm-hmm.
He is hopefully not fired. How do we feel about?
Because Lashley and Drew had a really good match at WrestleMania 37.
I think
I enjoyed that match, especially where you had to wait an hour because of a rain delay, and you're going out first. Like how that could have really fucked you up, but they went out and put on like a solid ass match.
Yeah.
Like they set the tone for that night, and night one of WrestleMania 37 is fucking excellent. They really set the tone with that match.
So I have a question about his finisher, the Claymore, because I think it is well executed. Like I think about his Royal Rumble win. How do we feel like that finisher ranks up there?
Oh,
I like it. I would like it better if we didn't do a countdown every single time for it. Like if he did it out of nowhere, like an RKO, I think it would be better. But
if he did it like babyface,
I think babyface Drew, because he's a babyface, you want to get the crowd involved. Crowd loves counting things. 3, 2, 1. It's easy, it's clickable. But when he does it out of nowhere, that shit is fucking excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I like it. It makes sense, and now I ain't gonna see it different because the Seindole kept calling him thick legs. But it's like, oh, no wonder. But no, it's dope. I really like it. I think also I like finishers you can do on anybody.
Right.
When you got finishers that like you gotta lift somebody or you need help, it's kind of hard to watch. But we got finished. Like, okay, 1, 2, 3, push your legs up,
Oh,
I was say, is that a shot?
No, it's just like I wrestle my kids, right? So it's certain things like
what?
Yeah, like
that's just so funny. It came out of nowhere.
So like it's certain moves. Like
that
my
should
daughter
be a gimmick.
is
I wrestle kids.
My kid. But then like my son, I mean, I don't wrestle him no more but he's like taller than me, so I can't do like I'm not power bombing him without him jumping or like
right,
the Pops GTS.
Right. No,
my God.
That's what so that's what I like about the Claymore kick. It's like boom out of nowhere.
It might be top 5 finisher on the main roster right now.
Right.
Oh,
I agree with that.
That is very strong to say.
I mean, think about it. You got the RKO. Gunther has like 20,000 finishers.
Mm-hmm.
But think of like who's there right now and their finishing move, and it's like,
they protect it too. Unlike a lot of finishers these days, but they do protect it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give him that. Okay, I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
Might be kind of obvious now that I think about it, but who do you guys think is Drew's best rival?
Wow, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, his best rivalry isn't that person's best rivalry, but it might be CM Punk. It's the
Oh,
it's
and it ain't even
the
fucking happened yet. That's
right.
hilarious.
It's the
Yeah, because
most,
it hasn't happened yet.
but like I think this will go down to his most cared about rivalry.
Because he actually put in character behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like the Bobby stuff was good. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the Bobby stuff, but yeah, I think that's because I also think they're going to have a great match. You
Mhm.
know,
Sure.
I think a second runner up between Sheamus and Gunther.
I think more Gunther.
Yo, that
Gunther.
WrestleMania 39 match with all three of them, my
Yeah.
God. Talk about a
That was
slobber knocker, as Seindole
physical.
puts it.
Slava
Say.
Naka.
I love it.
There,
I love it. I
there you
love it
go.
so much.
Yes.
See, and you gotta record that. That's a drop, yo.
It
I,
is
yeah,
such a drop.
I will. I definitely will. Slava Naka.
I love it.
It
So, yeah,
sounds like this. It sounds like New Orleans. Like what's this? What do they call their music again?
Um,
Bounce.
yeah, bounce
He's
music.
like, oh, Slava Naka. I'm gonna record it, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed. Like I said, I enjoyed him and Bobby Lashley. To be quite honest, I think they were pretty
I
good
think
dance
so
partners.
It's funny
think
because
so
I'm trying to think of like, especially this recent runs that he's been on since like he's been in WWE. It's like I can think of matches, but not feuds. So it's hard to really think of dance partners where it's like they don't really
Right.
stand out the same way. Like
Mhm.
if we talked about a Bailey, we could easily be like this dance partner, that dance
Mm.
partner. With McIntyre's like, ooh, I don't remember feuds. Are that's a hard question to ask.
What about Sheamus?
It's a shame that it was
Like, wouldn't he be
They
like
have
his
been at it.
greatest
They have been at it for a
like
very
his
long
greatest
time.
partner and rival, like at the same time, kind of?
Yeah, because they've been at it for a very long time.
You can, but then Sheamus, I would definitely say Gunther. Because they just hit another physicality that they just like.
They should revisit that high key.
I think they will in the world title feud.
I was just
want it
thinking
badly.
that would be cool.
You
That would
two
be
are
super
walking 5-star
cool.
matches whenever you just feel like beating the shit out of each other.
Yep.
And it reminds me of when Sheamus was feuding
match.
with Cesaro in that
True.
best of 7 before they became the Bar. It was the same shit where it's like, y'all two are just made for each other. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
I hated the Bar. We aren't the Bar. We don't.
Wait,
set the
why'd
bar.
you
We are the
hate
Bar.
them?
Because I hated Sheamus.
It was just
but-
yeah.
and then we are the Bar. We set the Bar. And I also wanted more for I was about to call Antonio Cesaro. I wanted more for Cesaro.
I agree with you. No, that's where I agree with you because I felt like they kept putting Cesaro in too much of a gimmicky type feel, and I'm like, why are we doing this? Please stop.
Yeah.
Like I was very much on that's one transition to AEW that I was so happy for because I'm like, yes, he does not have to give me a gimmick. Thank fucking God, because like
care about
I just want to see you. I just want to see you strong. I want to hear you slap skin literally with your fist. That's all I want to hear you literally do. Because you're good at that. You're good at Sabaraka. Like you another one.
You're good at skin slapping?
Stop it. You're good at just wrestling. And that's all I want from you. I don't want the Bar. I don't want freaking you to tell me that you're going to kick ass in 5 different languages. I don't want none of that shit. I just want you to get in there and whoop ass. There you go.
Yeah. And he has that potential, and now we see more personality, at least with Drew. Like, you see more of that personality, because I can't help but think about how, like, we're already saying Punk might be his greatest rival. And I hope it's not one of those things where the build-up is so fun, like the social media back and forth is fun, and then the match just, like, doesn't deliver. So I hope that that's not the case. And I do also hope that Drew can get over in a way where you can slot him in anywhere. Like, you know how Randy Orton, he kind of played whatever role he's cast in to say, like, he shows up and he knows exactly what to do to make this go over, you know, and he can be a heel or a face, but he will always be Randy Orton, and he'll always, you know, perform at the top notch level, and fans will be invested. And I think Drew is on his way of establishing that. I don't know if you guys agree with me, and I'm saying that from someone
1000%.
who
I agree with
did
you.
not
Yeah,
care
definitely.
for Drew McIntyre. Like I was just like, oh god, here comes boring. Like oh my god, like what's with the sword? I hated, and I get it for kids, and you probably in WWE probably want to sell swords, but I wasn't feeling a whole like cutting the ring ropes, like you
I
That
know.
was
I am okay with all that. I just did not want him to fucking sing. Like I did not need to hear you singing. I don't want to hear Sweet Caroline at that like and then
I love how this
Colt out there somewhere is like, hey dude, like you mentioned my name, where's my cred? Like do I get free seats out of this? Like, is he gonna be in Glasgow? Because listen, if Colt that he introduced the whole crowd to ain't gonna be over there watching him win, I don't want to hear it. Don't use the kids.
And
Okay.
you gotta remember, P, like, yeah, he's got the sword, but it wasn't that long ago before we were all had this unanimous disdain. People fucking love Game of
They loved it.
Thrones.
They loved it.
People
Yeah.
love Game of Thrones. Celebrities love Game of Thrones. That was a huge thing. So obviously, him and the sword, as someone that looks like he belongs on Game of Thrones, boom, that's like walking merch.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure kids like it's. I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Although
Going
I don't
around
see any
acting like
kids
they get
having
the
no
swords.
swords at wrestling
But you can
shows.
still emulate it at home. You know,
Yeah.
like there's certain superstars where you're like, why do they connect with kids so much? It's like because they can be them at home with nothing.
Yeah.
Ultimate
Oh, yeah.
Warrior. You know, like kids could literally just run
Oh,
full speed and be
God.
like, "I'm Ultimate Warrior." No, I'm just being, and as an example, like kids could
No,
be at
that's a good
home,
example
like,
because I've had a cousin or two
you
do that
know?
shit in Warriors heyday where it's like, oh man, this motherfucker won't stop running. Why? Hit the music, and all of a sudden he's running around like Warriors.
Listen,
Like, oh,
you
Jesus.
say that, and I think about the little kids who are automatically ready to get up and start doing the Jay Uso. Like it's just me, Us. They like it's easy access. So I get what you're saying.
Or Bianca's like the
Oh
standard
yeah.
model.
Oh my god,
How
seeing
many
little
girls
girls
cosplay as
cosplaying
Bianca
her.
and
Oh
doing
my
the
god.
hair?
Yeah. Yo, Andre made a good point. That's because you from Brooklyn, I think.
Pause.
That's why he said that.
No.
That's why he said that. You know,
if you ain't about that life, like if you going to try and listen
right?
off with
But
their
you
head and
just
just cut
cutting
the
the ropes up. Like,
bro.
why you ain't cutting niggas up?
I
Like,
need you to closely off
I
with your
mean,
head.
do you
somebody.
remember how long it took that fucking ring crew to put the ring back together at WrestleMania 38 after he cut them ropes?
Yeah,
Before
because
It
Rey
took him almost
Mysterio.
10 minutes and they were
get it, it's sharp.
struggling.
We get it.
And-
It's sharp.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, imagine if he actually got Corbin or fucking the other one that was with him
The other
with the
one.
sword.
Homie that
No,
just
because
got
Corbin
married.
had someone in his quarter.
Happy, what was he? Happy Corbin and
Happy Corbin.
Oh, I love
Was it
him.
Madcap?
Mike Ronaldo.
Metcalf. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just came across something about him. So I do want to give Drew his flowers because he's been around a long time. Like he was even tag team champions with Cody Rhodes back in the day.
Wow, I
So
forgot about
he's been around. He has wrestled all around the world, even outside of WWE. He came back. He made a name for himself. He became the chosen one, which is not an easy feat, even whether or not the fans are with it or not. Like he was the chosen one, and now he is in his bag. And this could be just the beginning of what he can ultimately do. So he did tweet something, and it's so funny that we were doing Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night because he actually tweeted something that was really insightful when just talking about his journey. And 10 years ago, June 12th, 2014, it was announced that he was released from WWE. And he noted that he did not make the headline on WWE.com. Brodus Clay, Evan Bourne, Teddy Long, Kurt Hawkins, even the photo. Who I don't even remember this girl. Is this Oksana?
That's Oksana.
Oksana. Yes. Okay. The only thing I remember about her
realize
is
how
that
fucking
she
foul
broke
that
my
is.
bitch Naomi's eye socket
Oh yeah.
because
Wait,
she was
Yeah.
sloppy.
She was sloppy in the ring and messed up her
PC
back eye
Total
socket.
Divas.
Yeah.
It was right
You
when they
remember
was
that
about to
episode,
push
Justin?
Naomi
No.
to win the championship, and
And
she
then she
came
got mad, I
down
messed up.
hard on her knee on Naomi's eye socket, and it like either bruised or I don't think she broke it.
It
but
scraped her
Right.
cornea. So she
Yes,
had to have
yes.
that.
So it was
and it had to
intense.
heal. Yeah.
And it was intense. But he got released 10 years ago, along with JTG, Jinder Mahal, Camacho. And he noted in the tweet that he did not even make the headline. Like, that's how much like he just was not there. And now he is the headline going into Clash of the Castle. Like, what do you guys feel when you read something like this and just like, because I get goosebumps, because that's what's fun about wrestling is how in 10 years you could become the guy just like that. How do you guys feel reading this tweet, especially being that we're in the fan club and it's Drew McIntyre Appreciation Night?
So, real quick before I actually say the one nice thing I have to say about him, now that I remember Total Divas, I remember the second episode where they made third episode where they made Homegirl a ring announcer, Eva Marie, and she couldn't remember what's his name, Jinder Mahal. And she had to announce three-man band, and she was like, "He's
They got
Slater,
on her too. They
Drew
got on her.
McIntyre," and she got dead silent, and they were pissed about it. So listen, that 3-man band shit, that just
Eva Marie,
but
that woman was made
but
for
I
reality
will
TV.
say this: it just goes to show you the work you put in comes back to you, and Drew McIntyre has put in that work. Like you literally, how many superstars are like, I will never go back to WWE after they release you, and they spend all their time in one promotion, or they go to another promotion and sit there and bash the hell out of them for almost an hour per show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But he went to these different promotions. He improved himself. He put on a lot of memories in those two promotions that he went to. And then he went back home, and now he's doing a damn thing. Now he's headlining. Like, he went from somebody who was released to this is now his sixth main event, I want to say.
Something like that.
Yeah, so think about that, especially, he didn't get to win the way he wanted during the pandemic. He messed that up in Philly. We get that. But like at the same time, like this is his sixth main event from somebody who was released a long time ago. So it just shows that hard work pays dues,
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, man. You can put that on a motivational person. If you work for it, you can achieve it. This was someone that dream was to be in WWE, got fired from his dream, and went out and did the work, changed his body, changed his goals, changed his mindset, worked his ass off from the ground up, had a couple stumbles, had shit come up, like the pandemic and stuff like that. That shit didn't deter him. And now you get to headline a second fucking premium live event in your home country. Exactly. You get to be the headliner for that twice. So cool. Like titles can come and go. The fact that you get to do that again, that's something that's gonna live with you. That's really like all this shit paid off because you get this.
Exactly.
I'll just say it real simple. He set the tone. He walked so Cody Rhodes could run. Like he said,
not even only him.
I disagree.
Too, think about that.
What?
Wait. Let Brian explain it then.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, how did he set the tone for Cody?
Because like when you think about who's the first person to really leave, like to get who to be at the bottom of the barrel, right? When they was released, essentially a jobber. He was doing stuff on Velocity and shows like that to come back to hit the indie scene, become a main eventer on the indie scene, and then come back and be a main eventer in WWE. He did it first and said it's Drew McIntyre. Cody Rhodes just did it better. So that's what I mean. He walked so Cody could run.
Wow. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, I can't really. It's hard to dispute this because I'm trying to think.
It's hard to dispute that. You're right.
Because the only one that comes into mind for me would be Jeff Hardy, but then it's also like that was brief in his time when he left, came back, and then was in the main event picture. Like he didn't stay in the main event picture.
But he wasn't a jobber. Like Jeff Hardy was still a primetime player.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Cody and Drew was terrible. And at the bottom of the barrel, he left, became a main eventer. Boom, he walked, but Cody came back and did it 20 times better. Nobody else had did it before Drew.
I just don't think you can compare Cody's journey to anyone else's. Just off the simple fact that Cody founded a wrestling company that actually they are actually a very passionate group of people that feel like that they can compete with WWE, and that is just not even heard of.
Well, okay, when the business
I mean,
side,
but if you take away that part,
arguably wrestlers have been doing that for years, leaving, coming back, getting a new painted coat, coming back and being better. If you think about it.
I've been trying to think of it. I can't. Not from the bottom to the top. Yeah, they come back, they'll be like Intercontinental Champion. Or if they was, world champion at one point, like say like Sid Vicious, he left, came back. But far as like to be a bottom, never considered for a world champion, to leave, hit the indies and say, hey, I'm here. Because at the end of the day, they're original WWE guys, people that maybe they thought about it when they penciled their name in, and then it was just never going to be in the cards. Like he had to leave in order to come back. Oh, the other person would be Christian Cage.
Yeah, but Christian Cage
Christian's
has become
won
a world
lot
champion.
of stuff, though.
He's been a world champion in another promotion, and I get what Brian's saying now. There isn't somebody who's had that format, so where they've come back and main events in the entire PLE, and can say that there's not a lot, and Drew's uniquely one of them. I get what you're saying about the Cody thing, because and then you have to think about the fact that Cody's different. Cody's redemption story
to like anyone,
because Cody's redemption arc is different than Drew's redemption arc. Drew didn't have his daddy's legacy blown in his face 24/7. Cody did. And if you look at the essential of it, Cody went on to and intentionally do what his daddy did, which is his daddy built NXT so something could be done for the future, so that the future can have something. And then what did Cody Rhodes do? He teamed up with 3 people who already knew the industry, who knew that more people couldn't get into WWE and needed an outlet for wrestling, and created that so the future can have somewhere to have wrestling. So their path is different. Drew didn't have that path. Drew's redemption more was for himself. Cody can say he finished the story for himself, but really he finished the story for his daddy. And the fact that his daddy never became world champion, and they never chose his brother because they thought they were mid-card people. And Cody's redemption arc was to prove the Rhodes family is not mid-arc value. We are also a wrestling value.
Is a hilarious phrase.
Literally,
that is fair
because that they are a dynasty too.
Good cliffhanger.
It's fair because nowadays, especially since Cody got that title, it's like you come out and they always got to mention Dusty. So it's almost like he's tethered to that.
But with Drew, you don't have to mention anybody with Drew. Drew is just Drew. Drew couldn't do this back then, so he's doing it now, and that's the difference. But I mean, I'm glad Drew is doing it for himself.
And the cool thing is the fans And the cool thing is the fans have caught up to it, because again, when he was champion in the pandemic, we weren't checking for him then. We weren't checking for none of those champions, because we also remember that was Strowman's shot at the title too, where it's like, all right, you guys are tired of Brock, cool, Drew's getting this title. You guys are tired of Goldberg, cool, Strowman's getting this title. And we didn't care about neither one of them. So for Drew to go from that to like, all right, we actually give a shit about what you posted on social media. We actually give a shit if you come out here and talk about Punk, even though Punk's not here. Like, you got us caring. On top of, we know you can wrestle because you give us solid ass matches, and when you want to turn up that heat, you can give us bangers.
Right.
But now the fans are like, all right, now we can actually appreciate this. Where back then it's like, we ain't checking for this. We don't care. We're here when Roman ethers your ass. But now it's like, nah. We're here when you're ethering others.
Yeah.
And that's his full circle moment of like, yeah, look at where you were at 4 years ago to where you're at now. And you're doing this without a title.
I completely agree with that. I want everyone that is still in the fan club, in the comments, let us know right now who is winning that championship match in Scotland for Clash at the Castle. Who is winning? Who do you got? If you had to bet money, do you got Drew or do you got Damian Priest? Because I would like to know that. I see. Justin, who would you happen to be rooting for? It's not clear for me. Okay, got you. Damian Priest. Damian Priest. That's baby girl. Baby girl. Damian Priest, baby girl.
It's giving retaining.
It's like I said on the buckle, I cannot go against one of my own. That's like you guys going against Biggie or Bianca Belair. Not gonna be able to do it.
I made that mistake. I would never make it again. So I felt that that was a jab at me. I've done that. I ain't doing that again.
I mean, that wasn't a jab, but if you walked into the punch, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
I am rooting
I
for
don't.
Drew. Sorry, I love
No, I
Damian.
don't. I feel like listen, if Punk is doing the pre-show again, if he ends up in Scotland doing that pre-show, ain't no way, bro. Like they're gonna if they want to feed us what we want, since we ain't getting Punk versus Seth, we getting Drew versus Punk. He got two more chances to get screwed out because literally don't see him winning the championship until he handles that situation.
Yeah.
Has he won Money in the Bank?
I kind of want him
There
to
you
get
go.
screwed out of that too by Punk. I kind of want that to be
Oh,
a thing
stop it. He can't be screwed out of everything.
Until Punk's healthy. I kind of want Punk to be screwing him out of everything, every title opportunity,
Yes, let that
every
be
Money in
his
the Bank.
gimmick for a
Let
little
that
hot
be his thing, because
second.
then it's just gonna add even more fuel to the fire when
Right.
Punk gets cleared and they can actually fight. It's like, you
Yeah,
screwed
I
me out
am
of
so
everything.
here for that. I'm so here for that.
He said, he was like, "Oh, you hate me? Oh, I'll show you a hater.
Mhm.
I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you speak this. If I catch fights, go be direct." Listen,
Love it.
I as much as we've spoken these amazing things about basic Drew McIntyre, I do agree. I don't think he's winning this Sunday.
Basic.
Sorry, I'm
I
joking.
love it.
On
No, I
Sunday,
mean McIntyre is basy. You know,
he
I can
hasn't
see
been.
Punk showing up just to fucking screw Drew.
Yeah. He got the money.
But
He on a plane
Andre,
to
Damien's
Expo.
time is coming. It's like I've said on the bugle. Like, ever since he got that, it's like when you really look at that Raw roster, especially the men and the main event scene, especially who's not there. Priest is on the shot clock. I've said this. Like,
Yeah.
he's got till SummerSlam to really stand out and prove himself. And honestly, Drew is solidified. So this match is really about the Damian Priest showcase of like, do you belong in the main event scene? Because
Agreed.
you have Drew McIntyre, who's hot right now. You have Gunther, who's owed a title shot at SummerSlam because he won King of the Ring. Seth Rollins is going to come back healthy at some point. CM Punk's going to come back healthy at some point. People love Jey Uso right now. All of these guys are on your show coming, and they're going to come for your title.
Yep.
So right now, this is make or break time for Damian Priest, where it's like, it was a great moment. You got to cash in. Second person to do that at WrestleMania. It's a solid one right now, but it could be either great or it could be, that was a good moment, then we took that title off of you. This is your match, Damian Priest, because all of Scotland's going to be behind Drew McIntyre. What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah. So I'm very excited for this weekend. I'm glad we got to give Drew McIntyre his flowers. I'm sorry, Snackentire, because I am so impressed by how far he's come as far as just like that entertainment value, where people are sending his tweets around like, yo, did you see what Drew tweeted? Did you see what that? And also just the fact that WWE was able to capitalize on one of their biggest stars being injured, because I'm sure it really fucked up a lot of plans when CM Punk got injured. Like, I'm sure they had so much planned for him for Mania, so much planned for him for even just everything, all the money they probably, that investment that they put into him.
Bro,
So the
you
fact that they
really
can
shelled
still
a Punk Seth Rollins match where
right,
everyone was clamoring for this, and then on top of that, you now had to shelve a Punk Drew match when Drew is just they're viscerally attacking each other on the mic.
yeah,
And social
like
media.
he has a ready-made hot feud. No matter when he comes back from injury, Punk already has a red hot feud. This can only make Drew McIntyre's star rise even like higher, So I love this for him. I love this for us fans. I love this for the business. I love this for when Punk comes back. There's just so many things to look forward to. And also, we talk about it with like Roman Reigns and everything, but like I think Drew's probably having the most fun also than he's had in a long time, because I can only imagine the pressure it takes. Like, even watching Roman Reigns documentary, the pressure that it takes to be the guy, the chosen one, and you're being force fed a certain gimmick, or you have to perform a certain way, or they want you to be just like the star before you, a John Cena replica or whatever, and you're like, I'm not comfortable with this, but the spotlight's on me. I have to do it. Fan criticism. I have to do all of this. I have to, win the championship during the pandemic. Like, Drew has gone through it. and he's come out on the other side, and he is authentically being himself, and he's having fun. And even if he doesn't win the title this weekend, I don't think it's gonna, interfere with his rise right now. I think it might even become like his gimmick. If Punk shows up and causes him the title, it actually does also still work for him, because it gives him more, like Justin mentioned, more fuel to be on Twitter just fucking talking shit all the time, which is good for me because I find him hilarious right now.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate all day.
Yes, there you go. The shirts. If you got one of those CM Punk shirts, let me know, because I miss
Phil
my.
not
I
like
think I
us.
miss my
Phil
chance.
not like us. Phil not like us.
You know the vibes. Everybody knows the vibes. I want to thank everyone who came through to the fan clubs tonight. All of our VIPs, Rakarsha, Dellen, Andre, Vaughn, everyone that came through to talk about Drew McIntyre. I want to know what everyone, and Matt, of course, what is everyone doing for Clash of the Castle? Are we live tweeting? Are we watching as a family? Let me know what's up. It's going to be an all-around good show. Like we have said during this show, WWE has not been missing when it comes to PLEs. All the shows feel relevant. All the shows feel fresh and exciting, and carries the storylines on in a really, really good way. So I want to end with just the reminder to check out Those Wrestling Girls' latest episode. It is an interview with Krista B and DTF Mania. She is a very dope wrestling photographer. I know for a fact that you've seen her work on social media, on some of your favorite wrestlers' social media. So go check that out on our YouTube platform. Subscribe to our Patreon. We have exclusive content on there, including Krista B sound offs, some vintage women in wrestling interviews, and some other fun stuff, exclusive WrestleMania content. Like, we have so much going on. If you are going to be in Cleveland, let us know. I am heavily considering being there, and I want to know who I can connect with and what magic we can make happen. And I can't believe SummerSlam is already coming up, because I feel like Detroit was just yesterday, which is so wild to me.
Miss Detroit.
Right? It was such a good time, and I think it's only gonna get more exciting. We have all so much going on. Where can everyone find my crew?
You can find me on all social media platforms at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights live on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch channel for TWG Fan Club. Myself, these three beautiful, amazing, intelligent co-hosts of mine. You can catch me Tuesday nights, Twitter Spaces on Black Wrestling's handle for The Buckle. With myself, Mimi, and Corey, we would talk all things wrestling. You can catch me from time to time on True Heel Heat Sports and True Heel Heat Wrestling. Both those channels are located on YouTube, where we talk sports, wrestling, and all that fun stuff. We here, we outside, we active. Salute to Clash at the Castle. Drew McIntyre, your flowers.
You can find me at Brian H. Wars on all social media platforms. Tonight, Wrestling Realm Now podcast. We're going to talk about Clash of the Castle. We're going to review Battleground. And also Wednesday Worldwide. Ring of Wrestling Worldwide. This week, we talked about Ricochet. We talked about Braun Breaker being the biggest heel. So check me out. Catch Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. And follow me at Brian H. Wars on all social media platforms.
And per usual, is your honorary wrestling girl, Seindole B. You can catch me here every Wednesday with the three best friends that anybody can have at Fan Club, where we talk about things. Hopefully the next one won't be against my will, per usual. Then if you're not into that, you can also watch what happens NXT. Follow us on Instagram. This past Tuesday, I did a live show, actually Sunday before the big PLE. So if you want to laugh about something, laugh with me about that. Also, I did a recap last night where I talked about how Kalani is the first to stand out. And I actually gave her flowers because everybody always remembered number one. And I did go against memory lane because, like Charlotte and Becky and Paige, she's similar to a lot of number ones, and her career path is already set. Also talked about why I felt like Roxanne and Jordan should have been main eventing instead of Trick Williams and Ethan Page. But all that to say, tune in to watch what happens in NXT every Tuesday, 6:15 on the dot before NXT, and I will see you guys later.
I love it. I love it. And I love you guys. And I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Oh wait, we do have a Mercedes moment happening on AEW right now. It's actually a championship match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, who she's defending the title against?
Zexus.
I don't see her losing
Let
the
it
title
rain.
tonight, but I am
Listen,
very.
listen. I did my homework against the person she's going up against.
Oh, Stephanie? Yo.
That makes me want to go to Forbidden Door. I'm sorry. That makes you want to tap the trip to Long Island because, honey, I watched 2 matches and I was like, where has this woman been all my life? I'm not a big CMLL person, but that would make me a huge CMLL person.
Yep. And the match that they had at New Japan Strong tournament for that title, that was a good one too.
It took me 2 matches to convince myself, yeah, I might have to be seated in live for that one.
Yeah, once I saw she facing her, I was like, oh, thank you, God. See, this is why I was okay with Mercedes coming to AEW, because now I can get matches like this.
Yeah, because Stephanie swore up and down she was like, what do I need to go to any other promotion for? And then bam. Bam.
Look at God. God's just blessing us. He's blessing Drew. He's blessing the fan club. He's blessing the club. Now bless us with some money so we can go to these things. Please.
That part.
Thank you.
That
part.
Hey, manifesting that we get to go to Scotland next year for Clash at the Castle 3.
Ooh, I'm so
manifesting one day we get to go to All In.
All In.
I would like to go to All In.
All In sounds dope.
Wembley.
Yeah.
Show of hands who thinks SummerSlam's going to be in London, because that's why I think they're holding on delay on where they're going to put it. I think it's either here or it's going to be in
London's
Miami.
getting something. I think London's getting something. I'm just not sure what yet.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Mania, because I think WWE is very dead set on like keep that in the States, because that's a cash cow every week.
It gave the city of Philly $2 million.
But SummerSlam makes the most sense, especially when if they do it early August, Premier League's not going on yet, so you can take Wembley because you don't have the footies going on. That Wembley's gonna get booked like that.
Would it be funny if they brought it back to New York? I'd be like, why?
What, SummerSlam?
Yeah,
I would love it because I never got to go to any of those.
It would have to be in MetLife. They cannot put that back in the Barclays Center. I'm sorry, that would be a grave insult.
I would brave returning to MetLife for that, even though I still have a sour taste of how WrestleMania 35 ended in New Jersey Transit, even though I'm never taking New Jersey Transit ever again.
Now you know you're just gonna park in Lodi, honey, and walk through the Granges, because that's what most people did. Because I would never.
It was my first time and my last time.
I would never. That was one of the reasons why I didn't go. But instead, I went to a watch party with Patricia.
That's how it was. Are you guys doing anything for Clash of the Castle? Any live viewings or something?
That is Juneteenth, so that's kind of like a watch from home when I get home.
Clash of the Castle?
Wait, what day is Clash of the Castle?
It's June 19th. It's Saturday, right?
Clash of the Castle is this weekend.
Yeah.
Right. And June 19th is the 15th, which is this Saturday.
No.
Or is it the 19th?
June 19th is Wednesday.
Sorry.
The 15th is
I'm celebrating Juneteenth because
Got you. So you're celebrating on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my work calendar because I also just noticed that AEW's been promoting that they're in my area next week. And that's why I'm like, wait, so Juneteenth you're here? So I'm off, but you're also like, oh shit, you're here Wednesday. I totally forgot about that. So if you don't see me on Fan Club next week,
I have to pop up. Might have to pop up. But I hope everyone, I've been wanting. I feel like I haven't been to a wrestling show since Mania.
I haven't. But that
So
that
I
just
think
shows
it's
the high that
time.
I've been on from Mania and
Oh,
what
it
Philly
was it
was.
was a good time. It was a good
That's
time.
it. I was exhausted. I'm like, I'm not gonna blow my high, but just going to any wrestling show.
Right. You can't. You
And
gotta
now that
follow up
you
WrestleMania
gotta
with
be,
something really dope.
and now you got Mercedes Monet versus Stephanie and Will Ospreay versus Swerve. I might just have to every follow.
I know.
Little
Yeah,
drink,
Forbidden Door.
And
I'm like,
SmackDown comes.
Oh,
And you know, it's
girl.
interesting. SmackDown comes to MSG that same weekend, though, of Forbidden Door.
yeah, like
SmackDown
P,
is
P,
MSG on
you
the
may come up here
28th.
next week. Like, yo, I may find a way to get up there for Forbidden Door.
I
I don't
did
want to
do
be. I don't want
Boston
to be
in 24
forbidden.
hours, so
Come on, girl.
I've
who
never
You know
been to
knows?
me.
that.
We're the early birds. If I'm going to chuck it at an early birder, you know you can do it.
But
You're right.
that'll be
You're
an
right.
offline
Let me
conversation. That'll be
see what I
offline.
could do. Yeah, let me see what I could do. But I hope everybody pulls up next week. I think we're doing best international PLEs
Yes. Oh my god.
next week. So we'll be able to recap Clash of the Castle and talk about some of the really, really dope international shows that have happened over the years. Not even just recently, because I know WWE's been hitting recently, but it goes back. So we'll definitely talk about all of that. I want to thank all of our VIP for tuning in to another edition of TWG Fan Club. We are here every Wednesday around 7 on TWD Twitch. We are our weekly wrestling fan club. We get together and we talk wrestling. And it's fun as fuck. And I love doing it. And it makes me so happy because this is the 2 hours once a week where I don't have to think about anything in real life. I could just talk about what I love with people that I love.
And
And I
talk about
really
shit.
appreciate that. And talk about shit. So I will see my crew and all of our P next Wednesday. I want to remind everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in to Schooling Sessions every Friday with Krista B, Pablo, and Christina. Every Tuesday, tune in to Watch What Happens NXT. And if you are in another mood, you could listen to hashtag the buckle. You know where to find Brian H. Waters. Just Google him. So I will see
Tuesday gang.
everybody next week.
Worldwide.
Good boy.
Yay, yay.